Well, let's watch this video here.
大家可以看得到身材上各方面，这让大家会有点担心。担心的不是只是这个身材会不会遭受到大家眼光啊？按年龄30岁、31岁，身高。
So as we see this patient over here, she's 30, about 30, 31. Height is 162 centimeters, with a BMI of 33.87. 35 is considered obese, and so she's on the borderline obese, even pathological obesity. So this have a very negative effect about her body. As we see here, her A1C level was 6.1, which is very close to be diabetic. And her body fat rate is about 44%, which is higher than our average for females. She also has a history of cardiac arrest and sleep apnea. He has coronary heart disease. And it's after angiogram to find out there's 50% blockage of her coronary artery. So we must have some kind of change. She must have to change her lifestyle, otherwise she may not live for long. So after surgery, you can see 10 months after, we see this dramatic change, and this change is truly a miracle for her. Now, it's not immediate, but these changes will happen. So now with modern technology, we have the technology to bring the intestines up to the stomach and also partition the stomach, allowing food to enter the small intestine faster and reducing the digestion speed. So we can see that she has lost 32 kilograms and returning to a more normal 21 BMI. As her weight is reduced, her diabetes condition, as well as her body fat rate, all reduced, lowering her risk for coronary heart disease. And her blood pressure has come back to normal as well. So if you give a round of applause, we feel like this is very, very informative. And now, because of time, we might move forward. As we know that our superintendent is very professional. His professionalism is well known, but we also know he's very skillful in understanding art. As we've seen from his show on Dai TV, not only are we learning about healthcare and taking care of ourselves, we also learn a lot about classical art. So we want you all to subscribe to this group. Here's the QR code on YouTube, and that way we will never miss these amazing segments. We'll also share this in our chat groups so that everyone could be part of this, can subscribe and be part of this information sharing. We want to share this with everyone so that more people will have access to it and to learn and to share these helpful stories and information. And we're very grateful for his contribution for the past 23 years at creating so many videos and video clips. I want to share with this story where Superintendent Dr. Jian has shared with this photo of the hands, and it really made me think. And we know that he's now have a new new show or new story on Dai TV, and he's now a guided reader on that. Now, because this is exclusively on Dai TV, it will take him a while to edit the videos to share on YouTube. And it's quite and it's amazing that he's able to find time out of his busy schedules to for this guided reading and to share and talk to us every day. So now we can hear Dr. Jian from Dr. Jian sharing with us on Dai TV. And also because of his guided reading, his storytelling, it made us enjoy the movies even more because we understand it better. And from his sharings, um, he has brought up a question that we often have when we are visiting cases, and it's about the abilities of the Da Vinci robotic arms. He assembled a red envelope using the robotic arms. So if we ever watch Dai TV, I'm sure you'll see him very frequently. However, you may notice that there's very few reruns because there's always new stories for him. And yesterday, if you watched Dai TV or Dai News, this patient who presented to master this painting and as we hear earlier from our sharers that even at 102 years old, they still do a lot of the housework, house chores. So Dr. Jian, it's also very glad that from the earlier pictures, he was carrying his grandson, and now his grandson is has grown. And this picture was taken by his wife, so we know that Dr. Jian is the one cooking. And we know that time can really change things. You can change how his grandson appears. And he felt really happy to share with us. Every year he made a promise with us to join us to be on the first study group right after the Lunar New Year's. Now, many businesses have returned to work after the holidays, we have a lot of people who couldn't come and make it here in person, but they're able to watch the reruns on our many platforms. Now, as we know that he has his show on Dai TV, it has passed the 6,000th episode or 6,500th episode, and it's been 23 years since he was hosting there. And this is a celebration for his 6,500th episode.
各方面的题材把它收集在一起，尤其是对病人能够预防、能够健康出境，那有所帮忙。其实这都是一脉相承。从上人指导我们，我们要对病人、对家人那份的一个关注啊。那从大林慈院一开始的时候，在执行长那时候的一个带领之下，那时候就义无反顾啊。那想不到就这样，就23年的一个岁月啊，黑发变白发，回首这23年来，真的是非常感恩上人，创办了4大志业以后，让我们医疗有它另外一片的天空。那我们现在也鼓励很多的年轻人一起来把这一份的医学传承、医学教育、科普教育能够做得更好，那一定会继续的努力啊。
好，真的非常的感恩了，6500集，要不要响起掌声来感恩祝福一下哈？那
So we're really grateful for him, and it's quite an achievement to have filmed 6,500 episodes. We know he has a lot of stories, and I picked one specifically for Kaohsiung. And we can see here that Dr. Jian coming to Kaohsiung and share his blessings after a typhoon has ravaged Kaohsiung. And the person who interviewed him is also part of our English translation team.
新闻报道在大爱新闻里面都看到了这一次山陀尔台风啊对高雄所造成的影响。但是
He was sharing that even if you can see through on the news on TV the effect of this typhoon, but when you're standing there, you can see you can really imagine, really experience the damage of the wind. We see signs that were blown over, trees toppled, and our brothers and sisters are helping with cleaning. It bears witness to how scary, how horrific that sight is during the typhoon's effect. So we can see the people, the residents, how fearful they were. And their fear is something that we can imagine. And at the same time, and we can watch our Fengshan Jingsi Hall. It's right next to Wei Wuying. And he's the first person to bring conference or a gathering to Fengshan Jingsi Hall because there is a amazing building next door, which is Wei Wuying. 到底我们能不能真正聆听得到，所以就有了这一次共识营的一个发想。联络好，所以这个共识营就在这边。So that's why we started this conference because we wanted to make sure that is aware and immersed in the Dharma of Tzu Chi and what we're trying to present and share with everyone. And he also came back to Fengshan again, and it is to share his gratitude. And we see a lot of our familiar faces, our local volunteers who are here today as well. And he came back to help everyone and help clean because he heard from the feedback last time that what people in the Fengshan Jinsi are lacking the most is more volunteers. So he came back to help with the cleaning as well as to host a tea sharing.
好，你看他扫地的时候，他还要告诉人家一定要左右开弓。
And even while he
我们在扫地的时候也一样，这个左右动作要取得平衡，心灵跟我们的
even while he was sweeping the floors, he was teaching everyone how to maintain a balance between our body, between our mind, finding the stillness as we're moving along, and finding a standpoint in our lives. So once again, let's welcome our speaker today. And we're really truly, really happy, really grateful to have our idol here talking to all of us. I've been watching him for a long time. And we know that he's also very quick to return his messages. So I know that why he picked Fengshan Jinsi Hall, because it is a new Jinsi Hall that just finished construction. And with this new building, he was the first to host an event there. So let's ask Brother Jian to share more about what happened that day. So I'm very grateful and very welcome Dr. Jian from coming back to Kaohsiung. And he picked Fengshan is not just because it's close to a building, but also because we're very passionate about hosting an event. And this passion is what he wanted the hospital staff to learn. So we know that Tzu Chi and the hospital share the same thought. And when he decided to come during our planning meeting, when he asked what we needed the most, we said that we don't need anything particular, but we just need more volunteers, especially for cleaning since we have such a big place. And he said that he promised that when he has the time, he will come back and help with the cleaning. And as his name implies, that he is true to his words. We're very grateful for him for sharing. Now, I know this is a sort of last minute, but he's also to bring up all these points for Dr. Jian. So once again, let us welcome Dr. Jian for talking to us today. Well, dear Sister Mei Yun, to our Kaohsiung study group team, as well our online brothers and sisters, hope you all have a great day. Time flies. Last time I was standing here was a year ago, and once again, in a blink of an eye, we all have become somebody's supporters, somebody's benefactors throughout the years, and with time, we're able to contribute and benefit the world. Today is also the Lantern Festival, so I would like to say a riddle. As we know that we are in a stage of climate change, global warming. So as we know, all the Arctic ice is built is melting, and so the animals in the polar region hosted a party to bid farewell to the polar bears. They feel really powerless. So what idiom can we use it? Can we say about it? As we say, this is an old Chinese adage that it's we cannot give it up. Uh, Now, let me share another one. It's also about animals. When we do CPR on a goat, what does it signify? Uh, well, it means that the goat is out of breath. So, like if we're sharing in Tzu, like we have to keep, and we cannot give up. We have to keep our diligence so that we can share and share to more people about Tzu and let Tzu be more well known. In the recent days, we know there's a high rate of flu, of cold virus going around. And from the earlier pictures, you can see that in the Da Vinci robotic arms, it can be very precise to cauterize or to cut and remove a tissue. This is a pancreatic cancer patient, and it is a very difficult surgery. But with the robotic arms using very small incisions, we're able to accomplish and complete this surgery. Many hospitals in Taiwan have these precision equipments, but very different in our hospital because, as we know, uh, before Chinese New Year's, every volunteer was busy assembling and creating the envelopes. And they were asking if and I had a thought to see if we could use our robotic arms to do this work. And nobody knew that it could really happen, that we could see our vice superintendent to work on that. And with magnification, with robotic arms, you're able to see a lot better. So we have this one and only robotic arm assembled red envelope. And it's also, the meaning is also that we need to combine technology with the love of Tzu. And can we bring this sense of love in our daily medical practice so that people can feel the difference? As we know that, as I always reminded our doctors, the edge of a knife must also carry the warmth of the heart. So this warmth will carry on with the patient so that it will help them through the most difficult times. Now, not only are we looking forward this New Year's, we can also look back. This is me about 20 years ago, which is kind of similar to our topic today. Even though in different places, when the mountains, the streams are all different, the experience can be the same. Like this is me in Pakistan 20 years ago when I carry the backpack, and that was a very heavy backpack. And we see these refugees who are who have suffered a earthquake. They set up camp right next to the highway, and you can see many of the local residents. They're just staring blankly at the river, not knowing how they would survive the day after. But now that we have this opportunity to reach them, to help them, that was the experience. Even though we are staying in a less than ideal accommodations. We were sleeping in tents as well, and these are tents provided by the UN. There's a lot of NGO that are collected together. So from here, you see, we have one tent where 8 people stayed in there. And during the day, it could be really warm, 10, 20 degrees Celsius. But at nighttime, it gets cold or can get to freezing or even below freezing. So at first, we were cold. They were sleeping close together. And everyone and as the night goes on, people start to spread apart for fresh air. And in just before dawn, you will wake up cold because there's frost in your hair. So you see this kid here, that wound on his forehead. We have to teach them how to take care of this wound so that it can heal properly. And you can see this is our orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Wu. And when this little girl, when we unwrap the bandages, we notice that she's already missing her leg. She's so young and she already lost her leg. And finding a prosthetic for her is nearly impossible where she's at. All we can do for her is teaching her how to take care of the wound so it can heal properly, so that she will have a chance in the future to get prosthetics and be able to move around as she would before. This patient suffered a stroke and was carried to our site, and we have to teach him about train himself again for rehabilitate himself. It's quite amazing to them that being in such a remote location, there's people coming from Taiwan, from places that they would never know existed, who share the same thought and same mind as they do. We had to cross this bridge, and we wouldn't share with Master because you can see how this bridge is curved. And we're really concerned of whether this is a passable or not, because this bridge is suspended high over a canyon. Fortunately, it was fairly stable despite all the curves. Now, among this wreck, we see all these rubbles. Tzu Chi volunteers still hold our principles, like we still line up, because we know that we're not just representing ourselves, we are representing Tzu Chi, representing the spirit of Tzu Chi, and that is what we want to bring to any communities that we visit. Anywhere we go, we have to go through these rubble paths, and we would stop abruptly because there could be wreck falls or blockages in the road. So it had to quickly clear out the rebels, or even blow up any heavy blockages. So this just to show you what we have gone through going to visit less fortunate places. At the same time, we build a relationship with these people. After hearing what we do, hearing the staff and that we're there to help, they bring their families. And we see a lot of them may have like injuries or aches that they started to discover after the earthquake. So after we see it and we know precisely what it was, we're able to take care of it real quickly. So they're really, so the people there are very at ease with us, and they feel like we are very skillful in taking care of any illnesses.
至少要走1个小时那样子。他讲的是确实他很期待我们能过去的心我们也能了解，所以在那个地方看到小朋友真的是非常开心。
They are inviting us to go visit their homes up higher up in the mountain, which may take like an hour hour walk.
伊斯兰教，所以你可以看得到，这是他们的机场。
As we know that Pakistan is an Islamic country, so this is their airport. When the time comes, there will be announcements for prayers, and there are 5 prayers a day. As we walk by, and we see these banners, as we can see here. So you can see that this tension among religion thoughts, that they rather pick death than accepting aid from someone of different religion. Fortunately, they accepted the love of Buddhists because they understand that we have a very simple thought. We have a simple mission. We are there to help people with respect, with direct. Most importantly, respect, because that is something that they rarely experience from all the other groups. As you can see that there's the computer is low battery. And this tent is for the residents as temporary shelter. And in Tzu Chi, we pay special attention to their needs. So we even have a prayer hall and even help them find where the direction towards Mecca. Now, this brother who is finding the direction with a compass is a Buddhist. So from here, you can see how religions can coexist harmoniously. They need a direction, and we know we can help. So we help them not only find a place for them to stay in safety, but also help them find their religious stability, find comfort in their religion. Now, because I was very busy throughout the day and it's also very cold, it made me think about some old poems, some very famous poems. So this poem was to share about at nighttime how there's in the cold air, and you can see up in the mountains there's flickers of light, but even though they're far away, we can feel their worries, how they're worried about how they were able to survive, finding food, get to the next day, taking care of themselves. Now, if we don't help them, if we're not working together, these worries will continue to be worries. But with aid, with proper resources, we were able to resolve some of their worries. Right outside our UN tent area, we have a temporary mosque. And this tent, or this Chen here will remind people when to the
不
prayers.
是打呼的声音了，是说提醒你该起来做祷告的声音了。到客船，你说哪有客船？有啊，实际我们划船啊，就是在那个场景里面感
And you
受
can
非常的
hear
强烈。
the call to
所以
prayer
在那个场景里面，
all
我们
over
感
the
受到非
tent
常深刻，
area.
就是我那时候第一次入围金钟啊，
And
我
it
总共有6次
triggered a lot of
其
emotions
中一
within
次
me.
得奖啊，这个大
It
概
reminded
业
me
界里面啊，没有人会这么
the
疯狂啊，不是说没
of
有人
my
得奖，这
nominations
个是
to the
业界
Golden
大佬
Bell
很多人
Award.
应该也
I
有
was
这样的
nominated
这
6
个这个
times
心
and
得，
won
但不
once.
是因为实际的特殊的一个因缘啊，那时候第一次得到金钟的入围，本来理论上能够说
And with
得奖不
everyone's
错，但是那个
where
场景
everyone's
非常
focus
深刻，
on
在
this
这个
Golden Bell Awards,
开
those,
玩笑，
and me
金钟
winning
得
it
奖
has
这个
it's
不是最重
the
要，不过
a
更重
collective
要的，
effort
我那
of
时候
everyone.
入围的时
And
候，
most importantly,
我
they
看到比较
are
早期的经
working
管的那个
to
书上
share the
他
message of
他们有
Tzu
出一个刊物，刊物上面就写着介绍入围的，请大家
Now,
注意
in the
上面
early
有一个
days of my show,
那
there
是
was a
故意讲的，
publication
非常
who
写信
who were
拜托
introducing
这位非常杰出的一个女主播，她也得到这个主持人
who
奖
were
的入
there
围。
were
那请大家
they
拜
have a
托
pamphlet
这两个
introducing to everyone
这个
the
两个女生
nominees.
不用讲了，这个没得比啊！但是你看一下上面跟下面文字的差别，上面他写简单2个字啊，反正这个入围很常见的事情啊。你看我感言写一大堆，
And you
我
can
可以
see the
限制
different how the
150
different length
字，我写到250
of the
字，
story.
不漏掉任何的一个时间啊。你可以
It
想说，
we're only
我
allowed
这个就
250 words
在获知大医生
to
入围金
share
钟奖的那一天，
our
蛮长的
thoughts,
一个50多
and
字的
I
篇幅，
wrote up
读起来的
up
上
to
面
the
那个
limit.
眼神已让我有了一些心理准备。但我看到他右侧乳房的景象，仍让我惊愕不已。20公分的肿瘤已
And
经布满整
the
个
day
大
I
腿，
knew that I
我
was
发现那个
nominated
肿
for
瘤
the
就好
Golden Bell
像
Award, there was a
可以预示
50-year-old female
恶灵
patient
啊，
came into
正
my
深远
office
的将她的
at
生命一点一滴的
from
吞噬。
the
这
lump
样的
on
威力
her right
为什么
chest. I kind of
会
an
在内
idea.
在的生
This
命
20 centimeter
为
tumor
什
has
么会
covered
在
up the
外
whole
面
right chest. It's like
让医疗媒
demons
体
holding
还
up a
有
mountain,
一起记录着
drop by
我
drop,
生
wasting
命
the
的历
life
史。
of the patient.
你看我把握那个
So
光耀，
this
那个金
story,
钟那个
this
上面没
tragedy
太多人会去看，因为他只有参
continuously
与金钟奖
happen.
的人他就会发
So I'm
发
very
出来。
grateful
所以
for the
这个
nomination. So
很重
to
要，
let
科
people
普
know the
知识教育非常重要。
the
因为
collective
我们是人类
efforts of
不是
medicine
我
and
这个肿
media
瘤帮你切掉，我帮你化疗，
documenting
不行，
our
能不能往前一
diligence
点？因为
and
我
incessant
能不能走
struggle
前一点
for,
点，
for
不要
health.
让这样的一个偏方或者迷信造成这样的一个生命的损
And
失啊！它影响的不只是这个家庭，
I
不是
sincerely
只是我
hope that
这个家庭，
with media,
每一
we're
个发
able
生在台
to
湾的
spread the
天天
proper
都有的。
healthcare
我这个入围是
and
20几年前的
knowledge,
事情了，
and so
现
that
在台湾
they
还
would
是一
not
样的事情啊！
blindly
但是
follow
我们还是
unproven
要更进一步的一
remedies.
个努力啊，来干预啊，这
Even
个
though healthcare is
金马
very
奖不是金
easily
钟奖
accessible in
这个
Taiwan,
评审委员
people
会
a lot of
他们
times still
这个
follow
会
remedies,
说我的部分，
hoping
就是说
to
故事的能
that
力，
will
使
help
他们的
them
医学知识变成生动
heal
有
their
趣，
illnesses.
并使专业的医学知识啊与生活连结，难能可贵。显然，那大概医生馆还是有看的。这个
And the
医生馆
feedback
不是
was that
不
we're
是
able
没有
to
这样的一个因缘，
share.
你
The
在
feedback was that
这个巴基斯坦，
the
那我能
host
够这
was
样
able
看到
to share medical knowledge in a more lively
看到
way
他
and
们
make
这
it more
样的一个
approachable to everyone.
看到他们受伤的一个家园，想到说远在几千公里外
So
的台湾
thinking back
上
to the
的那个
Pakistanis that we
那
work
那
with,
个是一人的死，
seeing
为他
their
们未来的一个改变，
worry-free
非常非
faces,
常感恩。其实大家知
and
道，这
receiving
个
the
很多
care from people
我在
that are
在
from thousands of
这
kilometers
个法
away,
船卫武营，我们去做
people who they
这
never
个
met,
共事营的时候，我把那
and
个
that
福会床拍下来，
changed a positive,
这个福会
that
床
had a positive change in their life.
那就是因为
So
巴基斯坦地震以后，上海对巴基斯坦也蛮
the
关心的，就
beds,
发现到了地
the
震以后
Jingsi
水
beds
患，
were
那水患以后，这个一个阿嬷
also
跟
related
这
to
个小朋
Pakistan
友水患很大，
because
那你所以
after
就
the
担心到
earthquake,
说，
there
你
were
睡在山壁
floodings,
上，又是水患
And we see that master seeing that, especially after a flood, how they were able to sleep so soundly on wet ground. So, and that's where the development of these beds. First generation was folded, corrugated boards, and then we assembled them. It's very different. The easy, the it's very different from the our easy to use current design. So the next place that is very, very memorable for me is in Jordan when we're in the refugee camp for Syrian refugees. As we see this little boy here, he has just had a surgery and he must need another surgery because he has issues with his kidney. A lot of the kids, some of them have hernias, or they may have uh, inherited illnesses. And with the help of local volunteers, they were able to receive the health care they need. For example, this girl was born without an anus, and that could be a deadly condition. So, with the help of Suji, I can see this little girl's smile. And I'd like to share this with a song. And this song is called this, What the West Wind Said. You can see that as the wind blows by last year and compared to this year, the kids are taller and stronger. And from here, we can see that the children, with the help of the volunteers, they're now growing taller and enjoy and able to grow and with a fulfilling life. And because of the love and the collective support of everyone across the world, they were able to help these kids change their lives. If it's very likely that without any aid, their lives would just wither in the camp, in their refugee camp. But it is with Siji's volunteer and from the collective effort of people across the world that they were finally able to thrive where they are. So now that's why I'd like to share with you the title I'm sharing. Now this actually came from Japan, started from about 8th century. Back in the days, people would go to Kyoto and visit the local shrines. That was their capital back in the days. So the people in Kyoto was hoping to have Buddhism spread to there to bring to bring peace to their tumultuous times. So they sent emissaries to China, and they brought back about 1,000. They brought over 1,000 clothes, and they all have a word that's so in the back. It's saying that even though the mountains and the stream are different, we share the same wind and the moon in the sky. And we wish that all the offsprings of Buddha can all come and build affinities. Back in the days, travel is very difficult. Not like now, people go to Japan all the time. Back in the days, they had to cross over the ocean. And when they invited all the many monks to come, there's only one that answered, who tried 6 times over the course of 12 years and finally got to Japan. If you ever go to Nara, you must visit this temple and see the impact he brought for Japanese Buddhism. And we share the same thought that, well, regardless of where we are, as we share the same sky, how do we let our love, our great love, blossom like a lotus through the muck, through the mud? So let us work together that we will share this commonality across the universe. So we know that being a TV host, he is very precise, whether it is in sharing his stories or his utilization of time. So when you have the opportunity to write 250 words, he would not let a single one of them slip by. So using the robotic arm, because our doctor already knows where to put the glue and how to assemble them, so it took less than 30 minutes. So every time we turn on the robotic system, we had to pay $50,000 in NT. So we take the opportunity that right after a surgery, when the system was still on, we to assemble the red envelope. So that we're combining our professional life with our Tzu life. And that is kind of a mission of Tzu volunteers, our Jing Si disciples, to fully utilize every moment. So next year, we come, we would love to hear about your time management skill sets. Like last Saturday, when we're all tired, I walked about 30 minutes to the train station and took it to the Taichung train station so I can go watch a movie. And it is a good movie that I watched because it gave me a lot of thoughts that we can think about very different things. and how they were able to tell a story in such a short amount of time.
厉害，你看起来好像爱
And
情片，可是
it's very
是惊悚片，
thought-provoking.
惊
So
悚的
even
故
though
事，
it looked
不
like
是
it's a
惊悚，不
romantic
是那个恐
stories,
怖
but
片，
it's actually
不
a
是恐怖，
thriller.
而且会完全颠覆你很多想法的。那就是我也不开车，我就这个坐火车去，这是感觉真的很好啊。
是
然后我就在过程中也想想看，我们的完美伴侣是谁啊？
哦，其实
And
哦，
做
throughout
家事
throughout
的才是
this
完美
this
伴侣啊！
when I was en route, I also took the opportunity
我
to
我跟你
think
讲，
about what
我
is
是
our
在
perfect
非常
companion.
早期嘛，非常早期，他还在大林当副院长的时候，然后我们刚好跟
In the
行政
early days,
院
Dr.
长之间他
Jian
就是分手，
was
分手之后，我
a
跟他有一
vice
点点不一样，
superintendent at
我就
Dali,
真的很好奇，我说你每一
and
次啊，
he
就是到
also,
医生馆出现的那些
when he was
事情，
sharing one day, I
他
asked
跟我
him,
讲说，我自己，我真的是吓坏了，因为
and
要去找那些资料真的不容易。
and I asked him
后来
who
后
was
来他
preparing
也
all
是
those
他自己
materials
说
for his
是
show.
他自己
He
说，
said he
现
did
在
it
问
himself.
题来了，现在我们大爱
And
大
I
爱公寓
was
可能
truly
是
amazed.
同
But
事
after knowing him more, we know that
大爱
he
你
is
看到
one
了
to
问题，
do
你遇到
everything
问题，
on
你
his
就
own.
马上给他阿萨里答应吗？你这么忙，
因为哈，大家知道，
是
And
电视
even the
剧
guided
或者是
reading
一些
about
影片会
the
看到的
Da'ai
事情啊。
是
那
the Da'ai
他
movies.
大一台自制律啊，他都要
And
符
as
合
we
标
know
准。
that
自制律就是
NCC in
自制这个
Taiwan
节目的比例，
have
它有
a
一个
lot
标
of
准，没有这个
regulations.
标准不行啊。那他们同样，
And
你说票房要
every
播这个
every
这个电影，
a
那
TV
片子要
station
多长？
has to
那片子
have
里面
a
有很
certain
多
ratio
都有
of
节目的啊，这有
production.
几分钟的时间，前后加起来大概超过5分钟左右，他可以接受。这就算是大
So when we
大
add
电视
in
剧一次
in
的意
a
思啊。
guided
那我就想说，你现在大
analysis,
剧场的问题，等于
it's
是
as if
风
we
风波，大家知道，
are
那这个电影
reproducing
大剧场不要拍
from
了，
the movies,
你知
so
道大
that
剧场一
to
集要多少
bypass
钱？
the
不是一集啊，一集
to bypass
一
the
整个
NCC requirement.
一个譬如说某一个剧的话，大概要几千万的，一集啊100万，而且有时候现在也不止100万。
对，
然
And we
后
know that Dai
我就
TV
看那
had
个，我就
cost
觉得说好
but
感
more
动
than $1 million
那
to
个
produce
现在的
one
行政院
episode
打
of
那
the
么多钱，
stories
那个
of
完全不
our
合理，那个
dramas.
通通都不用，我来通通来跟你导读，
哦，
那个钱通通可以省下来。我说我自己啊，就也不是说安慰啊，有时候就让自己想一个，就是说，你看看
And I
6500
asked
集，
that
为什么
to save the money,
一
I
集
will
假如制
do
作费
it
1万的话，
just to
我就
as
可以
guided
省下
reading,
600
so we
万
can
呢，
完
so
全
we
免
don't
费
need
的那个，
that
完全免
they
费
don't
的啊，
need that
我
production
不用
cost.
也不用后
And
置，
that's
什么
just to
东西都不用
saving
啊，因为时间
to
到
save
了，
money
就
for
是
the Dai
没
TV
有后
station.
置啊，只有打一个字幕而已啊，这样。那你说这个弄得很复杂，这其实还是回过头来单纯能够把师兄师姐
And you say, is it
能
complicated?
够圈在一起，这
Is
是比
it
较重要的事
really
情。所以
complicated?
我认为
No, this is
这
actually
个
much
是一个
simpler
值得开发、
and
值得去努力的
back to the
部分。
basics
但是通过
because
直
it
播
is
是
all
让
about
年轻人了解实际，不可能的事啊。
sharing
花
the
那么多钱
value
也
of
可能
Tzu.
哎，我觉得单纯一点可能也是蛮好的。譬如说，我就讲说，你看
And
地理、历史、
and we must
天文，
that's and the reason why we're producing all these shows
能
is
够
to
活
attract
光佛经
the
法，
younger
这是
audience
这
to
个
share their
我们的师
stories,
兄
to
师
share
姐
the story of
连
Tzu.
美国的圣
So
经
we
美学，
have to
美国的
invest
师兄师姐
in a
知
lot
道
of the
在大陆的
productions.
图书馆里面有世界最多的法华经吗？因为那时候清朝的时候，通通
And
流
as we
入
know
中国，
that in
你
the
能不能去把这些东西
in the
做出来？
British Museum,
你可能更深
they
入的
have
看到那个唐
a
朝、
lot
宋朝，包括智大
of
师他
the
们写
Buddha
的这些东
Sutras
西，
that
然
was
后再
moved
再
there
加上现代的法华
after
经的，我们怎么去呈现的实际的内
after
容，
the Qing
演
dynasty
绎
has
不
fallen.
只是演绎，
So it would be
这
great
个
if I
有
can
时候我
do
们
a
会觉得感
show
动，不是这个节目也不
on
错，那成本会很多吗？
showcasing
是啊，也
those
真
and
的，
also combining that with our sutra
非常
adaptations
好，
to
非常好，
show people what we
真
can
的来讲时
what
间管理好不好？
how Tzu volunteers
我
are
们也会就是其实我
acting
觉得
on the
医学
sutra.
本身就是个宝藏，它其实很多创意，台中慈院哦，就是在这一
We
次
feel
在
that
医学中
Dr. Jian is truly a treasure. The Taichung Teaching Hospital
他们其实有一个对法
is currently in the process of
院长时间，来，
being certified as a medical center, but they already have the necessary facilities, and
我帮帮您更好记。
they have something very special
任何问题，我们有专人哦，那个专人
in
背景是急诊的护理长，
Taichung Hospital, so that they have a line that you can call in to ask for any medical questions you may have, from prevention, from treatments, and any arrangements for post-treatment care. No matter where you are, you can call them, and we have dedicated staff that will answer your questions.
可以为我们帮忙，然后直接串联，也可以到台中慈院去看诊哈。那我们可以看到，就是院长您这一次来的时候，
That way, you can answer the questions and providing your necessary care.
所以应该有所感
And you can see we have all these new logos that are on the microphones.
序文，同时觉得我们如果
And we're very grateful for him to write an introduction for our study group.
的感觉，后来一看就觉得非常感动。那这边我们日本的经会就说，简院长温柔和缓的声音，真挚的声音。
So here from some feedback, this one's from Japan, how his sincere demeanor is very comforting for any of his patients.
那王明信也说您很赞哈，时间这边传来一大尾的重庆一大堆首信院长起心篇，以人为本立纲联。
From some other feedbacks, how he has a very humanistic base in his treatments, and not only is a good doctor but also a great volunteer.
犹如观世音菩萨离空化身拔除众生的病苦，方闻至诚向您致敬学习哈。那于如也是，那因为时间关系，我就会把这些请大家呢，就算在回复观看的时候
Because of time,
留言哦。所以简院长问我
you can read that on your own and as you watch the replay, but you're also welcome to leave any of your feedbacks.
是大家的一个典范哈，所以真的非常感恩，包括日本的4分。但是因为时间关系，我真的不能再念下去了。所以院长，您可以用30秒或1分钟的时间，您再看到这个月上云端这个设计的一个感觉，这个颜色，噔噔。
So that for the last few moments,
我相信大家就看到那朵云啊，每一个人
I would like to ask
每一个人
Dr. Jian what he thought about our design. So we're hoping that when you are wrapped up in a fog, don't complain that you can't see clearly. It is through watching, it is through understanding and joining our study group on the cloud, then you can finally see clearly about your life's mission. So once again, let us give a round of applause and a hand to our superintendent and for him to join us today. I'm very grateful for him.
院长哈，给我们这样满满正能量。这本书所有来的书友，如果您没有的话，都可以在会后在这边哦，那一户一本，有的人就不要重复了。希望。